I think a couple of moments. One is when you see couples. I think people tend to think that these type of retreats is where couples come in and put on their best face and make it seem like they're the happiest the happiest couple out of everybody there. And when you see couples arguing and you see couples like pulling you to the side saying Sister Naila, Brother Hassan, Brother Shadi, can we have a private meeting with you guys, blah blah blah. I think that for me. Hold on. What do you need, man?
This is live, John.
Go, man. It's just like you can't win, man. Like, you come all the way out here to ask me, can I use your phone charger? It's like you can't use an executive decision. You can't make an executive decision in that moment. Lord have mercy, man. I don't know. You just can't get away. The only way I can get away is to put the key in the ignition and pull off. And even then, they're going to send me 1,000,001 texts. Can I do this? Can I open that? It's like, God.
That's a man in demand, brother. That's all that is, a man in demand.
My goodness, man. So, like I said, when you have couples who, it might seem like kind of oxymoronic, but it's actually it's the realness of the couple when they pull you to the side and say, hey, we need to have a discussion with you guys. We having problems in our marriage. And it's just like, yes, that's what you're here for. That's what you are here for. But when everybody comes in and they're putting on this facade, like, and maybe it's not a facade. Maybe maybe you are the perfect couple. I'm not debating that. Right. But
we're glad for you.
Even the most perfect couple have problems. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by far in our religion, was the most, him and Khadija, him and Aisha, the most perfect couple. But they had their share of marital issues. And there were times when they needed third party interference, third party intervention. They needed that. And we all need that at some time. So I think for me, when I see couples, really going through it, and kind of pull you to the side and say, hey, listen, we need your intervention right now. I'm glad we came to this retreat because, we have people that were arguing on the ride down.
Exactly.
Exactly. We're arguing all the way to right. Arguing and bickering and having problems all the way until they get to the facility.
Right.
And when they get the facility, they drop off their bags in their room and they're like, hey, we need y'all help right now.
Right.
Exactly.
And then that is the ultimate validation. That lets me know that what we are doing is the real work.
I think, like, at the last retreat, one of the couples stated that who didn't present as having some of the more severe issues that we hear, but they said, I didn't realize how much we're doing right. So for some, it's an affirmation of what it is that I'm doing right. And I think it also lends to, we know, because some of the people who attend, there are people that all three of us work with or know in some way, sometimes, not everyone.
Right.
But because of that, there are people who I know who sacrificed, and there were people who were at the retreat who were homeless.
Right.
I mean, really.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And some very dire.
Right. I mean, we actually had a couple that was separated when they showed up. They were separated.
And you know what? And to see them there, even if I were to tell you who it was, you'd be like, really? You would never know it, because that's what the retreat did for them. And that's when you're like, man, like there really is, there's something here, and we know, as of course, it's Allah. There's something so much bigger than us, than the three of us making this do what it does.
Well, and for me, it's like especially when he and I are together talking with brothers, or we in the same area and doing our classes or doing our sessions, or you and I doing some practices with them, or different other things with them. And then it seemed like, even though I can't see it seems like a light bulb go off in their head, and they like, wow, I'm really communicating like that, right? And for me, it sounds good. It's like, Brother Hassan, man, brother, I really appreciate y'all doing this. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. That lets me know that we're doing something right.
Well, I think also for men don't have as many opportunities as women do to have those forums, and then to have the opportunity, and then to have you and Imam Shadid there. Yeah, it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think also what also helps, what also solidifies for me that this is, that we are doing the real work is, when you have couples who, come back to back multiple times and
Exactly.
we're here again, we need this, we're here again, and they walk away with, I mean, keep in mind, like, we're not trying to, I don't want anybody to think that the purpose of the marriage retreat is to invalidate what you and your spouse are doing. We're not saying that you guys are having the most horrible marital experience and you need to come see us so we can help you and get you on the right track. No, this is, because I learned as well, there are brothers there that have been married longer than I've been married. Like, last time we had couples that were there, have been married, what was
30 years. Well,
30 years, and then we had another couple that was there, two couples that was there
right.
for
Well,
3 years,
20.
right?
Right.
You know what I mean? That have been married longer than we have. You know what I mean? I have, more experience than we have, with this, so we learn as well. We're not just, we're all there. It's a learning environment for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And, for people to come back multiple times and say, this is, a refresher course for my marriage. I need this. And I've also suggested, to brothers and sisters when they get married to put in their marriage contract that we need to attend a marriage retreat at least, once a year, once every 6 months. We need to do something to kind of, keep the knowledge pouring in about our marriage. There is no one size fits all booklet for having or maintaining a healthy, happy marriage. There is no one, because what works for one person may not work for somebody else. So you got to develop your own manual. Everybody is creating their own marriage marriage manual. And we're grabbing tips from wherever we can get them from books, retreats, lectures, wherever we can get it from, and we're pulling knowledge from everywhere, to try. I just said this to somebody in my Thursday class, and I said that, she's like, well, it's very disheartening when you go to the masjid and you're asking the imam for help about with your marriage, and they're giving you these one-liner, be patient, trust in Allah, which is, very vague, information sometimes is not even applicable. And she said, it's very frustrating. I said, well, you got to look at it like this. You and your spouse are in this boat alone. There's a hole in your boat. You're in the middle of the ocean and you're sinking, and you two got to figure it out. You yelling out to other people, hey, throw me a buoy, throw me something to help us save our boat. And everybody else got their own problems. You guys have to figure it out. You got to attend some marriage retreats. You got to attend marriage workshops, marital workshops, even if it's from non-Muslims. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can take the information and you can Islamicize the information, because the information is the information. You can take it and apply it. You can take what we have from our religion and connect it to what you heard. And if it doesn't apply, then you just let it fly, let it go.
Exactly. Let it go. Shadid, let me ask you this. Shadid, let me ask you this. The unmarried group, what is your takeaway with that group?
I'm trying to find the right words. First, I would say that I'm very disappointed at the fact that there's not a lot of brothers that attend the singles event. There's always, a multitude of sisters and a small, number of brothers who attend, and it's very disheartening, because that speaks volumes as it relates to who's actually prepared and interested and invested in getting married and who's not. And while you talk to a lot of brothers, I could be in a circle of brothers, 10 brothers, at least 3 of them are not married. And if you were to ask them, you looking to get married, every single one of them will say, yeah, I'm looking to get married, but there's no sisters, there's no this, there's no that. But he's not putting himself in situations and putting himself in environments where, he could possibly be introduced to somebody that's just like him looking to get married, and, it's really disheartening, honestly, but I can see that the people who do come, the singles that do come, they are very thirsty. I can see that
thirsty as far as
No.
as far as for the knowledge, the information.
Yeah, I want to make sure we got that clear.
Not thirsty in terms of getting married.
Right.
No, they're thirsty in terms of trying to absorb as much knowledge as they can from the experience. And I think what happens is that they look at a lot of the mistakes that they've made in their previous marriages, and this is probably the first time that they've had that type of experience where they've gone to a marriage retreat and actually took notes. But you see a lot of them, the last time that we did the retreat, people with notebooks out. I was very surprised at that. Right. Had notepads out, taking notes,
all in their phone, taking notes.
Yeah. Right. Trying to get it right. Just trying to make sure that the next time I go into this, I'm having trouble hearing you. The next time that they go into this, they're going to do it right. They're trying to get it right, and we're trying to help them get it right.
Exactly.
I think one of the key things about the singles, well, the unmarried, the unmarried is that many people, because we have plenty of people, particularly last time, who had some experience, had some maturation on them, and who really believed that they did it correctly. And then they come to an MTF retreat, and they were like, "Oh my goodness."
I wish I'd have known this before.
Exactly. I never thought about that. And it may seem like such a small window, but okay, you missed 2 windows that seem small to you that could have opened up a view for you.
Like a sunroof.
Right.
And I think I know that's one of the things that I cannot convey. Particularly, I'm just going to say it to people who think they know it, who believe I did everything right, based on whose definition.
Right.
What is everything? Because we could tell you some things that you may be missing.
Right. Well, and I tell you, one of the things with this unmarried group that I really like is when we allow them to really see themselves in a situation. And, like with 1 hour exercises, just going in and putting their stuff in the bag. And they're like, God, that's me. Wow, that's me. Man, it's like the whole table's me. Right. And so they get to see their own stuff.
Right, and it's not to expose yourself to anyone, because no one really sees what they come up with.
Right.
But it is a moment in about 5 to 7 minutes. They get a moment of intense self-reflection to see your good and your not so good in your face. And those are the things that who really wants to see that? I mean, I remember Saturday night at the last retreat, everybody was gone, including you. Email. You go. Yes, we were downstairs, and I had to check myself and say no, it was Friday, because I had been listening to the brothers, and I was listening to those men speak, and I thought, oh my goodness, like that whole side of the room feels this way. My man, he probably does too. I had to I went to you, and I checked. Don't get too happy.
That was beautiful. That was a beautiful moment.
Keep going.
I'm feeling good right now.
Right. You're on the right track. Keep going.
But it was good for me. I needed that moment for me. It was set up for someone else, but I gotta, hey, oh girl, hey, check yourself. I don't know how well I'm practicing it. I'm
Yeah,
working
you're
on
working on it. You
I'm
know,
working on acknowledgement.
good. I said I like your efforts.
Yeah,
right?
I'm working on acknowledgement.
I like your effort right now.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, during the marriage retreat, we're all a work in progress. We all come, you know, with our baggage, with our luggage, you know what I mean? And it's just some people's luggage, you know, we kind of more aware of what's in our bag than what others
are. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I come with my baggage, but I know exactly what's in my bag. You know, I've been carrying that bag around for a long
time.
You know what I mean? I can tell you every item in there without even opening it and why it's in there.
Don't even bother.
How it's folded and everything else.
Right. I done folded it up nice and neatly. It's been in there for a long time. I can tell you how it got there, why it's there. It's just a matter of, you know, the time that it takes for me to get it out of there, you know, to unpack it, to get it out of there.
Right. And that's what you see a lot of, especially if I go back to the married couple, to the couples. You see some people, they get to you and they start unpacking, you know, and, you know, you have to kind of get them to unpack it slowly, right? Because they'll pour it all out on you if you allow them to, but then giving them the methods of how to unpack it slowly so as to not to overwhelm themselves.
Right.
You know,
right.
And make it to a point to where they are able to go home and seriously put the work in.
Right.
It's just that feel-good moment for being in this nice place, this luxurious place, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Speaking of luxury, the next place is a $1.5 million house. Just speaking of luxury, just to put it.
So what amenities are we offering for the next retreat for those who would like to attend?
Well, of course, they can even come early. And, you know, there's the beauty of just the area. We're near the beach. You know, it's quiet. It's cool. You know, it has the small town comfort in the Long Island area. And I can tell you, I won't give the exact location, but we are in the South Hamptons area. You can't walk to the beach from our location, but it's about 2 miles away. And so to be able to get the retreat and then be able to say, well, I want to go down and, you know, sink my toes in the sand with my husband. Or, you know, I want to go down and I just want to sit down and have some quiet reflection by the ocean, by myself. And to be able to untap and I think one of the things we hear so often is people come to the retreat and then, you know, like when it's time to go, they kind of get the deer in headlights face. It's like, what's wrong, baby? It was so much to take in, and they're in reflection mode. Well, we've chosen a location that allows you to take in. We have built in times that we don't occupy all of your time so that you can take a moment to reflect. Take a moment to just step away and just go outside, sit by the pool if you like, and just be able to do that. Go in the TV room and sit back and just watch a movie.
They got a theater room in there?
I don't recall the theater room. There's TVs everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So go and sit back, and because we make the house restrictive, you have full control of the house, with the exception of those who have reserved a bedroom. So you can enjoy the comforts. I mean, we have folks who go to the grocery store and come back and cook.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you do that, we're gonna want some. Just to let you know. But I mean, it becomes that type of setup. So we don't want you to feel like it's this workshop set up. We have been so intentional in the design about making sure that it doesn't have the conference feel. That after the day, if you decide you want to bake us all some cookies, we would appreciate it.
Like that one couple, the sister, she made that Moroccan soup.
She made Herrera. Yeah, she made the Herrera. Somebody else made the
make cookies. Then somebody make cookies.
Yes, the cookies.
Yeah, we got the tea.
Mhm.
You know, some couples were playing cards at the table. Some other people were in the pool. This is what it's about. It encompasses everything. Alicia D, he ready to go. He's smiling.
I'm already there. Already there. So what are some of the things that you know, in terms of workshops that we'll be offering, like some of the workshops that you do with the couples, some of the workshops you give people an idea of what are some of the workshops or activities that you do with the singles as well as the couples?
One of the things that we've done, because we have to switch it up with the couples because we have repeat attenders.
Right.
So y'all repeat attenders force us to come up with new information every time because we want to give you a new experience.
Right.
But for the unmarried, our swag bag has worked very well.
Mm-hmm.
And
what's that?
It is literally where you get a bag. Mm-hmm. And you end up with a bag of your gems, of your wisdom, and your raggedness.
and some people, like I was saying a little earlier, some people get their bag and they be like, God, this is me.
And it's a very small, cute little bag. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a party bag, but people understand that bag is heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And everyone has a bag. And then we talk about what to do with that bag.
Right.
Mm-hmm. We don't worry about packing it. We just really, our goal is to be truthful about what goes in it. We want to start there.
Right.
About what goes in it. Because you can still get through the airport without your luggage being packaged well. However, you still have to meet the requirements about what's in it.
Mm-hmm. So how heavy it is.
Exactly.
You know, there are baggage requirements.
Exactly.
Exactly. And so we go through the baggage requirements for your head and your heart. And to understand that what's required for my bag may not be required for your bag.
Exactly.
And I don't really like your bag.
Right.
Matter of fact, I'm not going to help you carry it.
Right.
I'm not paying
That's
for the extra weight.
For the extra weight. You know? Yeah, and I don't fly cheap. So
yeah. I'm not a spirit flyer.
Right.
And to be honest about that,
mm-hmm.
because you may be,
and where that's taken, where that has potentially taken you to, because that's what a lot of people get scared about, especially I won't say scared, but that's where the thing of the deer and headlight moments come into play. It's like, dang, this is me, and what can I do about that?
And if I haven't been honest with me, I surely haven't been honest with another person. Right. And then one of the best examples is, even with good traits, people will say, I want a God-fearing husband. Well, you get a God-fearing husband and you don't like him because he doesn't just want to pray Fajr. He want to pray the Sunnah prayers before Fajr.
Right. And then he want to thicker for an hour.
Hold up. I didn't mean God-fearing like that.
Right. You got to be more specific.
Exactly. You can't sit here and say that I want someone who's God-fearing, and then you're going to determine how what his God-fearing looks like. No.
I want to stay at home wife. And then when she's staying at home, she got you making sure you go out and take care of everything. And you talk about, but these are your kids or whatever the case may be. And she ain't really trying to hear that because she's a stay-at-home type of sister.
Right.
She wants to be protected and maintained as such. And you're not used to doing that. But you hear somebody talk about that's the way the Muslim woman is supposed to be, but you don't know what all comes with that.
Right. Like, you want a phone because you're not at home. Why I got to pay for your phone? These are all things to discuss. The other part with couples, because we do something differently every time.
Right.
Because y'all make us work for this. Mashallah. We good. We good with that.
Right. We don't have no problem with recycling. I mean, we don't have no problem. We don't have to recycle.
it makes us creative. The last time we did an exercise on what it looks like when one person in your marriage thinks everything is good and the other person is down. And literally, physically, what does that look like? And then once each of the couples got their spouses up, we held them responsible for the other couples around them. How you gonna have your marriage up and you gonna watch another couple be down? And they sit there right here beside you, and you even have some information. You literally see them struggling. And you're not doing anything. How is that okay? How does that meet the criteria?
I think you might have heard us when everybody started yelling at us. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I heard a lot of noise down there. Upstairs, I'm trying to figure out, like, maybe we in the wrong place, man. Y'all was having all the fun up there.
You know, that was them encouraging, you know, the last couple to be able to get up. You know,
and they took it to heart in that moment. They took it to heart. But we hope that we left them with the visual of what it looks like.
So for yourself, Shadi, what's some of the things that you've been able to, information been able to impart to your participants?
So usually I do a PowerPoint presentation for the singles as well as the couples. The singles, we're usually working on, I did one presentation unpacking, you know, your emotional luggage, unpacking their emotional baggage, just talking about baggage that we've acquired, you know, throughout the years from relationship to relationship, and, you know, identifying the who, what, when, where, and why of your baggage. And then, you know, talking about how we can start getting rid of some of that. And that's a presentation that I did for, you know, the singles. I think I did that when we were in Atlanta. And then the last marriage retreat, I think we focused on, you know, just kind of building your marital manual. You know, just I think sometimes people go into marriage and they don't really have a clue, you know, what they're looking for. They think they know what they're looking for, you know, based upon what didn't work in the past. So they say, well, that didn't work for me in the past, so that must mean that that's what I need going forward. And may not necessarily be what you need, you know. And then learning how to prioritize, you know, your priorities versus your preferences. You know, every preference is not a priority, you know, but every priority is a preference. It should be a preference anyway. You know what I mean? So it just helping them to kind of put the pieces to the puzzle all together. And for the married couples, I think I concentrated on just some jewels, some tips to help make the marriage better. Like, you know, focusing on the emotion rather than the action. You know, as I said before, and I think that helped a lot of people that I don't think that they really understood, you know, how powerful that is. That, you know, when you, when you get into an argument or you get into a place with your spouse and your feelings are all wrapped up into the situation, it's asinine to address the person about the action when in fact it's the emotion that you are more concerned about. You know, why go back and forth with the person about the action? Because the person can, you know, come up with whatever logical explanation for why they did what they did. And I'm not going to argue with you about why you did it, whether you were right, whether you were wrong. The fact of the matter is that this is how it made me feel. So let me address the emotion and not the action. Let's not invest so much time into the action, going back and forth for why I did it, why I didn't do it, how I should have did it, how I shouldn't have do it, how I shouldn't have did it. You know, that's asinine. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is that the emotion is what you really need addressed in that moment. This is how it made me feel. This is how it, you know, this is the place that it put me in, and I need you to address that. And I think, you know, for a lot of couples, it helped. This marriage retreat coming up, I'm going to do something a little different with the married couples. Time ago, I think last summer, I did something called the 10 Marriage Commandments. And I did that for the men. Basically, you know, just addressing the men on how to make their marriage better. And so I'm going to, in a week or so, maybe actually in a few days, I'm going to do 10 marriage commandments for the women.
Oh,
You
wow.
know,
Okay.
can't forget about them.
Right.
And then I'm going to turn the 10 marriage commandments for the men and women into a PowerPoint, and I'll do that for the marriage retreat coming up.
Okay. And you're gonna put this
I'll
live?
put it on Periscope. I think I'll probably do it either Friday or Saturday. I'm going to be in Bermuda, but I'll stream it live from there.
I know.
Well, I'm waiting for you guys to get your passport so we can get it.
They put me all out there, right?
Gotta get that paperwork straight, man. They waiting for you, man. Trust me.
Mashallah.
They're waiting for you.
Inshallah. I know he put me all out there,
right? follow the yellow brick road, man.
You know what I mean?
All the way there.
Inshallah.
So I'm gonna do the 10 marriage commandments for women, and then during the marriage retreat, I'll just kind of like condense it and do the 10 marriage commandments for both husband and wife. And these are just tools, tips that I think can help make the marriage better. If we use it, I think it can make the marriage better. It's, I mean, when you get in your 40s, you just don't have the energy to fight anymore. And as I said before, the difference between, experienced marriages and inexperienced marriages is not the absence of marital problems. Both experienced and inexperienced couples have problems. The difference too is that experienced marriages, they put their flames out very quickly. Whereas inexperienced, they're fighting. One fight can last for a month. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have the energy for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have the time nor the energy. You know what I mean? Like, experienced couples, they put out their fires very quickly. It lasts, a couple hours, and then we on to something different. It lasts more, but they don't allow it to fester. They don't allow it to absorb the energy of the marriage that could be used for other things. You ever get into such a heated argument, and at the end of that night, you don't even have sexual relations? Like, I mean, like,
you're too tired,
you just tired of arguing, and
y'all don't want that.
Right.
I mean, like, I can't imagine, getting into such a heated argument that at the end of the night we not having sex. Like, that means that this argument has absorbed so much of our energy that we can't even enjoy. You know what I mean? Like, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put us together to enjoy.
I mean, even to the point of just what you call cuddle time. You know what I mean? Just being able to
don't touch me.
Right. She's sleeping in one room, he's sleeping in another room. You allow that situation to absorb so much of the energy in your relationship. And experienced marital marriages, they know that at the end of the night that I want to be cuddled up next to you, so we need to put this flame out very quickly. And sometimes, people just don't want to let things go. And, unfortunately, sometimes it trickles over into the next day, but it doesn't go past that. The issue is the fires put out very quickly because they want to get back to that place where we were. We want to just hurry up and get back.
Have some peace. We want to get back.
Right. Whereas inexperienced marital couples, they invest more time in arguing and debating and proving who's right and who's wrong, and at the expense of the healthiness of their marriage. As I say all the time, I don't have nothing to prove, so there's nothing to argue about. I don't have anything to prove. I stated what I stated. You stated what you stated. I heard you loud and clear. Roger, I got you, and let's keep it moving.
Let's keep it moving. Exactly. Well, I want also with this, we want everybody to also know this too. One of the things, and get both of y'all to discuss it just very briefly. When we separate men and the women, what are some of your takeaways even in that?
I'll let Knight.
Contrary to popular belief, it does not become a place to bash husbands. I'm not going to say nothing is said. What I have learned is that the women, they have their own separate issues. And when they come together, those things. And it really is more about an individual thing. It's not always about gender. Very often it's about, I've heard this repeatedly, how my relationship with my Lord impacts my marriage. Because by the time we get to that part, what is usually like the second or third session, so they've had some time for some reflection. And that's one of the things that comes up often. But I've also seen beautiful connections emerge. You know, there are women who meet at the retreats who I know still communicate, because just from that short amount of time that they have to be able to sit in another room, sometimes tearfully, to sometimes say stuff like people have really told. I'm like, ooh, do we need a confidentiality statement?
Okay. So just so everyone know, it is about confidential. You know, what goes on there, stay there.
I mean, people have shared some very, very heartfelt and private moments that I have never heard repeated. And to be able to create that safe place, and for someone to be able to hear from, and not a group, at least 1 to 2, 3 other people from another woman to say, sister, I see you. And right now, in this moment, we are a reflection of each other, not of each other's mistakes, but of each other's effort. That is the most beautiful, sincere thing that I've seen. And you know how much that means to me.
Right.
You know, I got women issues, and they're good. I come from a good place.
Yeah. So
I think when we separate the brothers, you know, we get a chance to hear a lot of the things that, you know, their wives are not hearing. You know, get a chance to hear, that room becomes, you know, the sounding board of all of their frustrations. You know, my wife, I wish she would do this and do that. And, you know, and as one of the hosts there, or as one of the administrators of the program, you know, we get an idea to hear what their issues are, and then try to find a way, you know, to address it, which is why I'm glad, you know, before I get a chance to address the couples, we get a chance to get the men by themselves.
Right.
We get a chance to hear, you know, what their issues are, and then kind of try to find a way to slide it in, you know, in the presentation.
Exactly.
To get the women to kind of, you know, so you're basically echoing the sentiment, you know, you're echoing the sentiment of the men, because, you know, for whatever reason, their wives are not necessarily hearing them, which is another thing that I touched on the last marriage retreat, and that is communication. Learning how to communicate, you know, communication is very important. And, you know, sometimes, you know, it could take a lifetime for something to go from the heart to the ear, although that's a short distance, right? Between the heart and your ear. But for some people, it can take years before it enters into the ear and enters into the heart. As the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam even said that about some Muslims, you know, that they will read the Quran, but it will not go past their throat. You know what I mean? They will read the Quran, but it will not go past their throat, meaning it will not penetrate the heart. You know, and that's a very dangerous place to be. And so sometimes, for whatever reason, the men communicating, you know, I mean, we've had men that have cried about wanting multiple wives. You know, they can't say it to their wives, but you know, in a room full of men, you know, they can express that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm always, you know, a pot stirrer, so I'm like, you know, if that's what you want, go ahead. I'm not gonna tell your wife, man. You know,
Right.
I'm not gonna put you on blast. Listen, what's said in this room stays in this room. But I got you. You would love the opportunity to have another wife. I got you, man. I got you.
Yeah.
Sound like y'all having fun in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
because they don't have. You got to understand. You know, when you're talking about a man who gets up and goes to work every day, you know, he has a small social circle. Usually the social circle is not people that are marriage counselors and people who can actually hear them and provide them with, you know, the information that they need. It's just somebody to hear them out. And then of course they have their wives that they go home to every night, and it's just like, where's the outlet?
Right. I mean, there are men actually sometimes feel like an island.
Right.
situation,
Absolutely.
and so because they have nobody they can express
Right.
anything to. So when they get there, I mean, even to the point where I think when we was in Orlando, I mean, we went out to breakfast that morning.
Yes, y'all did a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and the guy set up a telegram, but I mean, they still communicating on it today. So where they were kind of being supportive of one another and whatnot. So it was very nice to see that they were able to bond in a way that typically most men aren't able to bond, especially on such a vulnerable level.
Right.
Right.
This is one of the things that separates us from so many of the other conferences.
Mm-hmm.
And conferences are good. We've all been at them. We've had them. We met at one.
Right.
But that to be able to be in a place that makes it so safe to be able to have that connection. Mm-hmm. We don't say, okay, it's time to connect. Right. We don't put it out there. It just happens so organically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the beauty of it. So let's get a date. When is this retreat happening?
April 17th through the 19th. It is 3 days, 5 o'clock on Friday to Sunday afternoon. This year we have added another day. See how we just keep trying to be better and better for y'all. Y'all deserve it.
Inshallah. So Sheikh, I really appreciate you being on this link today, this webinar today. And as always, man, it's good being able to be around you. Oh, one more thing. I am going to try this year not to make anybody mad.
Make anybody mad?
Yeah, I'm going to try to
Hassan always triggers
someone.
And I'm sure the times I don't hear about it. But there are times when I do. And, I try to go and pull it back before it goes too far.
Right. So I'm going to be a little bit more aware. So I'm not going to...
I think it's already a vulnerable place. And then when Hassan sees a teachable moment, he tries to take it to a teachable moment. But sometimes, people aren't ready.
Right. Their emotions aren't there. And I'm aware of that, and I try not to drill it in too hard. I don't twist the knife at that point. But
and they've always, to what I know, they've always ended up being okay and feeling, more comfortable in the end. Yeah, your mouth, man.
Well, I, on the other hand, I'm there to make you. I'm there to make you uncomfortable.
He said he makes no apologies.
He makes no apologies.
That's what I'm there for. What doesn't challenge you doesn't change you.
You email Shadid Muhammad. Away with that. Right?
What doesn't challenge you is not going to change you, man. I'm not there to placate your feelings. I'm there to get you in your feelings, to help you get you out of your bag. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
I mean, it's all love. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing it to purposely trigger anybody. You know what I mean? But at the same token, I only have you for 48 hours.
Right.
We may not even see each other again, after that. You know what I mean? And there's people who have come to retreats, since we've started, that we've never seen them again. You know what I mean? And I want to make sure that the experience that we had for the 48 hours that I had you, I want to make sure that experience is one that is memorable, one that you won't forget. You know what I mean? And if it means that I gotta kind of rub you the wrong way, I've had people email me. Even as early as the last retreat, I had a brother who emailed me. Two Shoes. You remember him?
Yeah, Two Shoes, right.
And he said that he disagreed with some of the things, but he just overall expressed that, he was really grateful for the opportunity, but, he did take the opportunity to say that there were some things that, rubbed him the wrong way, and he wasn't really feeling it. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's fine.
Right.
Like, I mean, like, the experience is not going to be 100%, to your liking, and that's okay. You can get on a cruise, and you can have complaints. You went to, San Juan, and you went here and you went there, but the whole cruise experience may not have been to your liking, but overall,
right,
you enjoyed it,
okay,
and that's cool.
Exactly.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Seriously, we're there to get you. This is not the feel good moment retreat.
Right.
We want you to feel good. We want you to be happy that you're there. We want you to be comfortable being there. But we are there to get you to move in a direction that you probably haven't been moving before, because we need your marriage to stay around.
Right.
Our marriage needs your marriage.
Right.
Your marriage needs somebody else's marriage.
Absolutely.
And we can't do this alone.
Right.
So
evidenced by the fact that when you hear somebody got divorced, how that, especially if you knew that couple, how it impacts you. Your marriage needs somebody else's marriage.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You need it, whether you know it or not. And the information that we need to give you, sometimes it may be uncomfortable, but at the same token, you will appreciate it. It's just like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did. I hate to get religious, but
I mean, that's our way of life, bro. It's our way of life, man. Make it happen.
I mean, like, you got to be careful in this day and time, because people are just so opposed to religion and religious talk. It's really sad, man. Honestly, like you can't. It's not like years ago when you could just bust out with some Quran and everybody's like thirsty to hear it. Now, you open your mouth, you gotta segue into, I need to quote something from the Quran. Are you guys okay with that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Believe me, we done found out.
Right. But it's almost like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deals with us. Allah loves his creation. However, everything that Allah does, everything that Allah decrees for us and decrees to happen to us, although good, it's distasteful at times. It hurts, it's painful, but the lesson is in the pain. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the believer doesn't get stung in the same hole twice.
Right.
The reason why is because when you feel the pain from the first time, you don't do it again. That means that the lesson is in the pain.
Right.
You know what I mean? So sometimes, we may say things or we may do things that, kind of get you in your feelings a little bit, but it's all out of love, and it's all for your benefit.
Exactly. So, alhamdulillah, we've been on here for a minute. So
I'm gonna put a coupon code up.
Okay, yeah.
That's only going.
Yeah, do you have something to offer if
yes,
if register today?
If you register today, and I'm gonna give you until midnight, and I might even be sleeping midnight, so you might get a little longer. But you will be able to get 10% off if you register today. And I'm gonna put a code. I'm gonna put the code in this link in this video. So it's gonna be for those who have shared it, who were here today, and so there's some benefit, paying attention, being here, showing up.
For showing up. Yeah. Exactly. So that coupon, what's the code going to be?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it up.
Okay. So all right, Imam, Imam Shadid, let's close us out, and we're gonna see you guys at MTF.
Inshallah. If those of you who are listening, please, for the sake of your marriage, for the sake of, the healthiness of your marriage, register. If you are not interested in coming, or you can't make it, you don't have the time, then, support another couple. If you know a young couple just got married, or a couple that has been married for some time but are kind of struggling, to get past, the first couple of stages of their marriage, then register them, pay for them, sponsor somebody, sponsor a couple. You can imagine, the money that you spend to sponsor another couple, and, the hasanat, the good deeds that is added to, your scale, for helping somebody else. As the Prophet ﷺ said, that Allah will continue to aid his servant so as long as the servant aids his brother. So helping somebody else is essentially helping yourself in Islam. So even if you can't make it, and or you can't get the time off, sponsor somebody else who could use this opportunity, inshallah.
Or partially sponsor them, or partially.
You say pay on it.
And pay on it. You know what I mean?
Right. Or you can, if you don't know a couple, then you want to donate the money, we'll apply it to somebody. We'll, find a way to apply it to somebody and allow them to come and benefit. But we need to, be friends of each other's marriage. And that's the very least that we can do. I may not know you per se, or I may not, particularly care for you, but I want to see your marriage stay together. I want to see your wife and your husband and your children. I want to see that unit stay together. Exactly. So I'm going to donate some money so that you guys can go and benefit. That's being a friend to somebody's marriage.
Inshallah. So, alhamdulillah, we appreciate it, Imam Shadid, and inshallah, we'll probably be hearing from us on our pages again. You can find Imam Shadid at, let them know where you can find you at.
It's all over the web.
You can find me. I'm in the building.
Googleable.
I'm
somewhere in there. I'm somewhere.
Right. And you can get us at hashtag that clay couple. And
inshallah.
All right, Sheikh.
Right. Jazakumullah khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you both for the tremendous work that you guys are doing. I know you day and night you guys live, eat, sleep, drink, counseling, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to bless you guys to do this work. There's not too many in the field that, can take on the type of, cases and the loads that you guys take on. And I really don't think that, we appreciate you guys enough. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to give you guys the energy to do the work that you do. Because there are not a lot of people who can do what you do.
So, all right.
وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
We did it.
Alhamdulillah.
And I recorded it.
MashaAllah.